Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all good. Once again, it's Sunday, and I'm glad you made it. I believe you enjoyed yourself. You went to church. You went to wherever you wanted to do, where you wanted to go. It's a family day, Sundays, and for Christians, it's a church day. And for my fellow Arabs and Muslim, it's a normal working day. So I greet you all, royals, and welcome you to TNT. Once again, we are at it again, and it's all about topics that we bring out. TNT is about, talking about social lives, things that goes on, things that we need to talk about, and also things that are very current. And one of the things, hey, Adra Roslav, hi, things that are very current happens to be things that are daily going on in your household, in the family, abroad. And it's all about you know, blacks abroad and our challenges here. And we get to know that sometimes our challenges happens to be ourselves. And yes, we need to work on that. We need to work on that. The most important thing is recognizing that there is a problem. That is the only time you can change it. Those that know that they never have any problem and they are good to go, they cannot change, because if you don't have a problem, you don't need any cure. There's no solution to it. What do you say? So let me quickly go through. Our topic today is getting out of abusive relationships. So let me just go through people that are sponsoring and helping us and broadcasting and sharing. And I believe that you will also just join up and share, help us whilst we are doing this. So let me quickly start with our Mama Double N with the Healthy Life, Family Life on YouTube. And the point of correction, she's no more Mama Double N, she's Mama Triple N. You understand, Mama Triple N. Congratulations to her. It's a very good and wonderful news to hear. We also have Afritful and Afritful, that is Africa to the world. It's all about our African product, the African market, and how we can push it forward, because this happens to be one of the most important things we Africans need to know. We'll be pushing everything else except our own. And this is a platform where your markets, your products can be visible to the world. And there are a lot of things coming on. Just visit Fruitful. You have the group and the page. So when you get to the page, you might not see a lot for now, but in the group, there are a lot going on. Just join up and then be part of the good movement, I would say. Yes, we also have D Rocket Fashion. Is all about African wear, African accessories. And we have the models. If you're looking for models, you can find them at D Rocket Fashion. We have them in Ghana, we have them in Nigeria, we have them in the US, and also in Germany. So D Rocket Fashion is about fashion, it's about modeling life, and it's about coaching as well. So anything you need, you can come there. We have Royal Consult. I always say it's about the home office, your translations and everything. Read it for me, read it for me. Don't give it to the wrong person. We are very discreet when it comes to, your private issues. We just read it, give it to you back, and that's all. You don't hear it anywhere. And that's it. Yes, and then we also have Wow Gathering. It's all about empowering women empowerment. And, to show you that as a woman, you need to be proud of yourself. You need to know your values, and you need to love yourself before you can love your neighbor, because it says love your neighbor as yourself. So if you don't love yourself, how can you love your neighbor? If you don't respect yourself, who do you expect to respect you or love you? That is the thing. So that is the Wow Gathering. You've been hearing Wow Gathering. I believe, say you've never visited it. Today they're making a point, go there and visit. You understand? And then TNT, of course, we are here. We have Tally Food. Tally Food is all about the Nigerian food, Nigerian cookies and cookies and cookies. We have the what is the other one I asked the last time? Kilishi. Kilishi is something. Go and taste it too. If you see the name Natalie here, just rush on her. Make sure you get Kilishi. I think it's Kilichi or Kilishi. Yes. So we have Beauty by CY Touch. It's all about makeup. And she will definitely let you look from as you are looking shiny to the shiniest. You understand? She'll make you look better. Extension of beauty. Men there, we don't do makeup, but those that do it, they shout out. I understand. Then we also have Queen Esther's Bakery. We have Ohima Mukase and Adoma Muchia, and they are all here on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can find them and just follow them up. Before I just invite the first panelist here, I just want you to take note of this. I believe that you have been searching through the Facebook and you might have come across this interesting thing that says that das Virus South Africa is by ons. It simply means that virus from Africa has arrived here. You see, you might be sitting there saying, oh, they love us, they are here, they've changed though. Please, this is in German also. When I say the Germans now, it is not in Russia, it is not in Korean, it's not in anything. It is in German. And it was written in Germany and somebody allowed it to come out. So you'll be sitting there saying, oh, they've changed, oh, this is the new, this and that. But they want to paint you as a problem already. You understand? Out of the whole thing now, they were able to come and take from Africa. No? They also want to give in exchange some names be that will paint us darker as we are. You understand? So that is a problem. And it went a little bit viral. People were like, that's, and they were posting on it, they were posting on it, they were posting it. And something that even if it's Africa, Krana, it is coming from a part of Africa. Why will you have the general thing say out of Africa? Now look at this funny statement that came afterwards. It says that just in whatever, blah, 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 one the other part, was in Europe before South Africa. It came to Europe and not yet. They didn't write to say, whatever, whatever. And it's even one person that actually came and said, we all owe Africa, South Africa, thank you and an apology. They only Kukma when the thing came, they only owe South Africa an apology. And please look at the statement here. He says that the virus from Africa, and now they owe South Africa an apology. Africa, you're disgracing why it's your own beef. You understand? So please, you have to place value on yourself because those that you think say because they are paying you just because they are friends with you. I'm not creating any hate at you, but the thing is that be wise. Just be wise. Because even your own fellow black brother, and I'm yes, of course, everybody has a mindset. But somebody now won't kind of one, of course, the mindset is totally different. Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? The next time they'll tell but you are black now. You understand? And that is what came up. South Africa, they said Africa. Africa, they about in the old South Africa. The Africa for now, take yourself, please. It's just a message of awareness. Be wise. Just be wise. You can slay your queen, you can slay your whatever, but just be wise. They might love you, but they never love you as your fellow brother will love you. That is the thing out there. So once again, welcome to TNT. Like I said, it's not about the virus. The virus was created for the white folk. They should take their thing. We don't need it. It is only in Africa. They say, hey, we are part of it. Recognize what God has given to you, and what God has given to you, it even kills virus. You understand? That is what you need to know. In Semhuna, lockdown, lock up, lock queer, lock boom now say LGBTQ no kro hu ne ho ano what you say virus ne so they count here masa shonam So we then move on. There's alcohol in Tokwane and I didn't come with Intokwa. I just came today just to give you the best of TNT, and it says that getting out of of abusive relationship. Yati abuse. I remember one of my daddy wrote me immediately or say, now how do you define abuse? Now, how do you define abuse? If you get to our African dictionary, there's nothing like abuse. Ya bon kwalana and you bon no him say abuse. Okay, you say it three, so you don't know say it's abuse. What is abuse? Then he also came up with something. The way Derek you are explaining abuse there, it looks like you are just directing it to men. But abuse, honestly, as he said, comes both ways. Just a man, man, we cannot show the abuse. Let me invite them both a man to the platform. The first to come, sunshine in the rain. But no snow, so by sunshine in the snow.
No, it's the rain.
Welcome to TNT. You're looking good. My mom from Midura, Gashi.
Thank you. You see, with no hair, you can easily cover your hair and then you look cool. Happy
Mm-hmm.
Sunday.
Happy Sunday to you. Let me quickly invite the the twin Constance. Constance in the room.
Hello.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
How are you, my sister?
Cool, very cool. Like the way the weather is cool.
Did you both plan to you should be
Look, her own looks
You
electrified.
see, mine is raised and hair is down.
yes.
Hers looks electrified. Ask her what happened to her hair.
As for sunshine in the rain, I could hold up with you because yours is covered. So if I cover mine, nobody will see.
Mm-hmm.
Constance, the I know teasing me too. Yes. Actually, we have a topic that is very serious somehow.
Mm-hmm.
I say somehow because the person, no crana, mostly they are going through those things, no crana. If you make a mistake and you want to help them, you
Oh
become
my God.
that is
You,
why
you
it's
end up being their enemy.
your enemy. And at night, when everything is fine and on any house,
Mm-hmm.
having fun,
Mm-hmm.
you become their position topic.
Yeah.
Uh, Therefore, from Paul Manson. This is my brother from Italy, I believe. I said, Master, how are you doing? Long time. I feel, sir, but you me, I'll write you back. Why? I feel there, Yaliwa. And, let's start by, as my daddy asked me or say, how do you define abuse?
Use.
Mm.
The sunshine, will you go?
So, I would say in my own way, I would say abuse. There are different kinds of abuse. Um, Individually, people are being abused physically. People are being abused emotionally. Some are being abused financially, sexually. Collectively, abuse is when someone is doing something to you inhuman or against your human rights, or yeah, which is not right, which is not done, which is not done, then it is an abuse, because you don't expect to treat somebody the way, when you are being treated that way, you wouldn't like it, then you don't need to treat someone like that. So
Mhm.
I
Yep.
would say that's how I understand abuse.
Thank you very much. See, Connie.
Yeah, I think, as my sister has already said, abuse is anything that you do, let's say, against your fellow humans that causes harm.
Mm-hmm.
It could be emotional, it could be any other way, but the main thing is that there is a harm caused to that person.
Okay.
And, sometimes too, the harm can be so deadly. Sometimes the emotional ones, because it's like somebody, let's say something like a verbal abuse, somebody insults you so bad so
Mhm.
that it affects your emotions. See that you're even at work, you are not yourself because of what that person said.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that is an abuse where it's really it's so irritating. I mean, it's so demeaning when somebody uses certain things against you. That is where we term it as an abuse.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.
You see, the name says it all. Everything that starts with AB, app, is out of norm. We have the abnormal, we
Mhm.
have used, so it ends up with being used. You
Yeah.
understand? Anyway, that's my own interpretation. Uh, let's start by this. Adua says that, hey, yes, then we have my
Mhm.
brother Mansour say, Masa, how are you doing? Long time. Then Ohima, as we all know, she's as beautiful as she's live.
Mhm.
Also the picture. Or see, hey guys, fire topic. Uh-huh. Then we have Odisha Bakupe. Odisha Baba.
Odeshieba.
This year,
Hey,
Papa, Kupe.
you know, hey, yes.
Yeah, double K.
Okay, it's live and talent watching Odisha. Ah, is that okay? Okay. With them who Odisha.
I think he's spelling it the gun way.
That way Odisha. So we have good evening, everyone that is here on Akosia, my kid sister, right here live with us watching. So greetings to everyone. Everybody who was able to add our viewing, please just do us a
Yeah.
favor and then broadcast it, share it to your friends. They broadcast it to them and
Yeah.
then tell them there's something going on. What's it gossip? Biaba, and you'll so thank you very much for defining the word abusive as we all understand it. Before we still enter, no, let's go back to Africa. Like I actually answered my papa, no, the word abuse. How capital is it in our dictionary? What is
Hmm.
abuse in Africa? Because I believe, say, 21st century, yeah, the white people are abuse. It says, oh no, Bakra Kasa abuse. Oh no, Yere Kasa abuse. How do we define abuse in Africa?
In Africa, I think it's a big problem because it's like every form of abuse is being experienced in Africa. The very first one is the verbal, right from the homes. You see,
Mhm,
mother and father exchanging bad language, so kids are learning. The
mhm,
first thing as a Ghanaian child, the first thing you see, even kids when they are playing, one child does something, you say, Abua, Kwasia.
mhm,
You know, that is the first verbal abuse that we see in African homes. Most of we use certain words that are so bad on ourselves. And it usually flares tempers when people are fighting, or maybe when there's a little misunderstanding. People use certain words that are so bad
mhm,
that but that is what we see in our homes. You know, the verbal one is the most. The next one is child abuse.
mhm,
You see how we abuse our children, because in Africa, our kids do not have a say. They don't have that much of a say in day-to-day family life.
mhm,
It's like, no, once you are a child, whatever um whatever is happening to you, you can't really speak up, because it's like, no, children, you are a child, we are relegated to the background. It's only the parents who make all the decision for you. You know, even if something is wrong with you, you tell your parents, they tell you, hey, you are too stubborn, I mean, get away. So that kind of child abuse is there. Look at the way we treat our children, how we beat them.
mhm,
Some use their slippers, some use canes, belts, wires,
mhm,
because a child has done something wrong. And you see that child abuse is so much. And they start from their childhood, bring it into adulthood. Because when the child was growing, this is what he was saying. Seeing the parents fight, he himself and the siblings are also fighting. You know, that kind of harsh treatment. So, how do you expect such a child to grow and be a good parent?
mhm,
Definitely, what he or she have seen is what she is going to grow up with. Just like garbage in, garbage out. What you feed in is what you get out. You see. So that is the main ones. And it usually also ends up in domestic violence,
mhm,
because that one is the home. You see, where all these abuses have been done, because sometimes some kids see it as that is the way of life.
Mm-hmm.
In everything that he asks for, you need to be insulted as an answer to what you have. Maybe if you ask a question, oh, after you get away, you are so foolish. You know, you see, you just say that to the child. So always the child have it at the back of my mind that, well, they say I'm foolish, so that is it. So you always be doing all the bad things
All the
until he grows up. Yeah, grows up, meets another lady, and the trend continues.
mm-hmm.
You see, there are various forms of abuse, but I think we just start with these two. I'll let Sunshine also add her own, yeah,
Yeah,
to the forms of abuse.
he's already abusing the rain, shining,
It's, and it was raining yesterday the whole day.
and you were shining.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I abuse the rain by going out. So if we are talking about abusive relationships, like I said, we have
Abuse in Africa.
In Africa.
abuse
Visible. Mhm.
abuse in Africa in terms of relationship,
No,
because
in terms of the kinds of abuse that.
generally,
Like general abuse. Yeah.
as for Africa, the way we grew up, everything is by fire by force. You understand? So it is
Mhm.
when I think the 21st century made us created the awareness of abuse. Otherwise, I think the old age people, I don't think they kind of knew what an abuse was, because like everybody grew up with it. It's mixed up from right from your childhood. When you are being packed to eat, you don't want to eat. Like they will just squeeze you, and I do it too. I just squeeze you in my armpit and then push the food in your mouth.
Pull down
That's
to you.
right. When abuse abuse starts, you
Baby
understand.
abuse.
Baby abuse. Even the women when they give birth, as painful as everything is, you would be forced to sit on hot water. All this is an abuse. You understand? So we've been mixed up with we grew up being it abuse being mixed up with us. So we can't really differentiate abuse in Africa. Every aspect of our life,
Mm.
every area is abuse.
So don't you? The way we are saying it, it looks like abuse. It's a white man thing because sitting on hot water, it is
In
painful. Yes,
Africa, it's called training. Have you
and
Yeah.
what I see,
in
and then
Africa, it's called
we,
training.
To our
That is why,
discipline.
yeah,
Mhm.
or
discipline.
discipline. That is
Mhm.
why we don't have you ever seen someone in Africa saying that my childhood days I was abused, so I'm having depression. Have you heard it before? It's only
Depression
in
cry is
Europe you
also
hear that
another
nonsense. You grow up
thing.
to
It's like it's part of our system.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we always have to apply force in everything. We have to be that kind of aggressive, especially with the fathers, or maybe with the powers that we vest in men in Africa. That men are this, men don't cry, men, you are supposed to be hard. So it's like they always have to show the woman that yes, for you to be seen as a man, you need to be that kind of aggressive, you have to be abusive, that kind of thing. Then instead that if an African man is on the same terms with the wife, loving, he is treating the wife well. Look at the term that is being put.
Bema.
Oh, he's a fool. Bema kotobunku, ni yere na jimino. But
yeah.
that is the good way of showing love.
Mm-hmm.
But we want it to be like when you come, hey, boy, that kind of hard thing that shows that you are a man.
Now that whole boom.
So you see, and that has been our system. When with the children like this, you are not even free to voice out what exactly you want to say, because
Mm-hmm.
the moment you say it, you are being shut down. Hey, we and Penny said you are this. Keep quiet. You see, and then you are being shut down. It's like you can't really come out with what you want to express to your parents.
Exactly.
The worst thing is if it's like in African homes, the parents are never wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even when they are wrong, you the child has to apologize
Yes.
because they tell their respect for the elderly.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like this time around, we this generation, because of a little bit of education and other studying of other culture, let's say the white man's, it looks like we are trying to bridge the gap.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's causing a little bit of friction between the new generation and the old generation. The old
Yes.
generation thinks because of what we are seeing, we are not being. It's like the terms they use for us. Oh, we are not wise. We are this. We are that. It's like everything in our system is way backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike their time when it's like they were being because of that kind of abusive relationship and whatever they find themselves in, you are forced to conform to whatever was there. So that kind of brings that kind of friction between these days. Is like, hey, these days the youth of today, they don't respect the youth of today, they don't do this. Yeah, it's because of that.
A kind of way, no. Today our topic is though not the African abusive way, though, but we need to get it from somewhere. You
Yeah.
see, the reason why I made that comment, like it looks like this abuse thing is the white man's thing, is that please don't get me wrong, it looks like almost 70%, or even let's go down to 60% of those abusive upbringing has made us who we are today. It has made us uko school, your boss are mass, they put it in your head like by force. You come to Europe
Mental.
and you are even better than Omono Omode Mass Berry Arsenal.
Mhm.
Then they put some kind of, they call it respect, but actually they are just killing your soul. No? But when an adult makes this, you cannot say it. And then you find out that the adult is wrong because I can't say it's fooling. Because you be at them. No fooling around. Till say when you say, oh papa, oh mama, what you did, who are you?
You.
When did you come to this world?
Mhm.
When did you come to this world? It's the same thing
Mhm.
that I'm computer. So let's move on to it. Keke say, my name is the bomb. My name always causes confusion on the platform. So Ohima says that we experience some abuse right from our mother's womb. Mm-hmm. I'll say especially when your dad goes wrong or disown you. I know say another thing. Who disown
Yeah.
you? You will, before I finish this one, we always say you can say that was my ex, but you can't say that was my ex child. But in Africa, they
Mhm.
can say that's my ex child because they can disown you. Uh,
Mhm.
because if you go through abuse, even in your mom's womb, as if you told your dad to misbehave, boy. I'll say most of us Africans have really gone through various abuse. Uh, the shouting cry takes you to another level of abuse. So we are just masters before we get to adulthood. And that is my papa. I'll say, why are you narrowing it to only men abusing? Women are also at times more abusive than men.
Yeah.
And yeah, Rebecca, now, and the thing is, as Constance said, in Africa, one of the most abused kids is men don't cry.
Mhm.
You know, how will you know the abuses that are going on in various homes because men don't cry? Tia bono cry now, Pia, you still gotta
Yep.
show the shoulder and show I'm a man.
Mhm.
Telling your child, don't cry, don't show emotions, don't do this.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, when he's old and he's beating the wife because he cannot show emotions and everything, we also come back to do what? Complain. So let's take it now to the normal level. Hima said that's very true, but men don't talk. That is it. Men don't talk. So our topic today: getting out of abusive relationship. Abusive relationship. Why can't you get out of it? Why is it difficult? Why do we even realize we are in an abusive relationship? The reason why I'm asking, I'm very particular about this topic, and when it came out from the person that came, I was like, wow, thank you. We had this abusive topic before, and it really helped me because there were a lot of things that I thought, is normal and it's easygoing and it's okay. And I realized, but then on the other hand, I saw, not just say, if I'm in a relationship, Krana, I tell my mind to my partner, Krana, they call it, you're abusing me because I'm too straight. So when is it an abuse in a relationship, and how do you get up as a whole? So now the topic is open. Let's get into it. When is it even abuse in a relationship?
I think when it becomes an abuse in a relationship, one partner, the one being abused, sometimes takes the blame upon him or herself, thinking he or she plays also part of the role in being abused. You understand? Because when you happen to confront some of these people and talk to them, why don't you come out? Why don't you leave? Why don't you let's go? You know, sometimes
That's
they'll be like, oh, it's not always that he's like that. It's not always that she's like that. And yeah, I'm sure that sometimes I also contribute. Or even if I should take the decision, who will even believe? Or sometimes people will think that I am the one who is at fault, you know? So
right.
sometimes they don't, the people being abused feel they themselves are even abusing, like emotionally abusing themselves, because they think they are part of, they are contributing factors to the abuse being caused to them, you know. I would clearly explain it by saying, they believe that, oh, it's a phase, you know. And in this life that we have come, there's always going to be problem. The first problem is coming. By the time you will be through with it, the second problem is also arriving, you know. So these people, especially the women who are being abused, the men abusing the women, will be like, will be like will be like, um oh, maybe it's because he's lost his job, or maybe it's because the the kids are disturbing when he comes from night shift and he wants to sleep in the morning, and the kids are everywhere disturbing, and so he gets overwhelmed, and then he can't control his temper, or whatever the reason may be. They always have one reason or the other, flimsy excuses for the one causing abuse to them, and then they cannot even leave the abusive relationship whatsoever. Yeah, then they're just stuck in there hoping that it will get better, when I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's very true. And I think maybe before we go into why they can't sleep, we should identify the type of abuse that we find in relationships.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can see that for um, a man and woman relationship, most of the abuse that you can easily find out. One is the verbal abuse, the second one, financial abuse, and the third and big one is the sexual abuse. You see, so it starts gradually like that. It's like the main person trying to abuse you, either the man or woman, starts by using certain demeaning language
Mm-hmm.
so that you have low self-esteem. You know, he comes and tell you you have no use. Even my ex was better than you. Why did I even, when they start like that, the person wants to say something to make you feel bad with yourself. Sometimes even body shaming. Maybe you've given birth to one or two. When I met you, you were so slim. Now you've bloated. Now look at your stomach. They will say, knowing well that women will go through a lot of things. Or probably even the man himself, when you were slim, you were having six pack. Later, you've got pot belly.
Oh,
The,
that's
so the
all.
lady is like, now look at your stomach. What am I going to do with you? You cannot even sleep with me as you used to do. And they say it in such a way that you feel so bad with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You see, and these are some of the signs that no, the person is abusing you verbally, the person is abusing you emotionally. The next one is financial abuse.
Mm-hmm.
People who tend to abuse you, they dictate to you what you should do with your money, how you should spend the money, and they most often demand lots of money from you because
Mm-hmm.
it's like you are trying to maintain the relationship. So if you don't give me this, if you don't give me that, then it's like the relationship has no future. So they try to, and you too, because you want to maintain it, maybe for the sake of people, and other things, you don't want people to say that, oh, they've broken up, this. Okay. So let me also meet up to my partner's needs. So whatever money she's asking, whether it's relevant or not, you are trying to provide the money.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You see, the third one is the sexual abuse, which usually it's very, very bad. It gets to a point where the person doesn't even value you so much. He just come grab you, sleep with you anyhow, then and then just turn and sleep and leave you alone to yourself. You see, when he or she is in the mood, she comes, grab you. There is nothing like romance, nothing like foreplay. He comes, tap, 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 10, do this. He does everything, whatever he wants, and then just leave you lying there. He is satisfied, you are not satisfied. It doesn't bother him or her. You see, so when it gets to this level, there you know that no, Now it's high time you really make certain bold decisions. Otherwise, you get depression. In fact, when all these things combine together, you get big time depression or anxiety attacks.
I'm smiling because immediately we go to the sexual abuse. Sunshine was smiling too. Please, you want to say something? I saw your finger up there.
Oh, you know, I'm actually saying that, these people who actually bullies, ne,
Mhm,
who causes this abuse, they also bullies, They
Yeah.
sometimes they know what they are doing to you, so they sometimes get sweet, they sometimes get
Mhm.
nice. They don't do it all year round, so that you will get up and go. If somebody doesn't want you, the person, it's not that they don't want you again, oh, and that's why they are abusing you. They have they are bullies, and then they tend to find your weak points, and then they tend to use it anyhow it to get what they want from you, or just be the controlling have control over you. So
mhm,
they don't get why I got to say what I'm saying is because Constance was saying about they turn you and, and then they are going.
I saw
They
that.
don't always get papa papa, but there are days, there are times in the year or in the month where they cooperate. You understand?
Mhm.
So the days that they cooperate, then you would think you would then you the abused person tend to be like,
You think he
oh,
has
he's
changed?
changed.
Okay.
I think let me take it easy for him. Things will get better. And then he gives you like
Mhm.
2 weeks, 1 month, and then he hits it back again. So
Again.
if you are not strong, you will stay there and stay there and stay there and stay there. I have a friend, when I told her last week we are discussing this topic, she told me, oh, use me as an example. I was like, if you cannot leave the marriage, don't come and tell me I should use you as an example. I said you should leave, leave. And whenever I tell my friends, like, we are like kind of group of friends, and whenever I say she should leave, the others are like, hey, Gifty, you don't tell people they should leave their marriage like that. It's not, no, I'm like, you don't know the kind of abuse she's going through. And then you tell her to leave, and she too, she cannot leave. I don't know what is happening to her there. So, so sometimes we are being forced to believe that when the banging goes right, she enjoys it, and that's why she's there. Because apart from that, what are you doing there?
I have some interesting comments here. Let me quickly go through the last one, Crown Kuman. Let's start with also getting out of abusive relationships is like palm nut soup. Passing through your nose, see the red flags, but to get out bad yet, there be unless we sometimes organize a crusade. Us
Very true.
to walk out because what are people going to say?
Yeah.
I start afresh. Um, other times, other times too, you have nowhere to go, especially in our family.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I already had 2 children, my father was still slapping me if I dare respond to anything that I was not agreeing to. Abuse is in Africa has no boundaries. I agree perfectly with my sister who just spoke. So, uh,
The African father always sees you as a kid, no
yes,
matter your age.
you should have organized some boys for him. Uh-huh. So I say they are always right. Oh, that's why we are sometimes timid in
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Yes. You people are hammering on men abusing women. We have 2 men that are saying why the other way. Having forgotten women abuse men too, especially here in Europe. And here
Europe.
comes my
Mhm.
final one. I love this one. Say, do Ghanaian women really know what romance is? Maybe the younger ones, yes, but the older generation, you can forget. Well. We'll come back to some of these
The
comments.
Mr. Justice, excuse me, the Mr. Justice. Did he
Mhm.
say does Ghanaian women know what romantic
That's
romance
a
is?
question.
Romance.
Ah, we Ghanaian women, we are more romantic than
So,
African
Please,
so
Ghanaian men.
romantic.
so in this corner,
Ghanaian
there,
men, the whole
I
African
will come here,
continent.
come for a debate on it. No, not all, but then, as soon as he said, the younger ones, but oh no.
Tell him
Aha.
that I said he's wrong. The whole African continent is Ghanaian men who are not romantic. Ah!
Okay, we'll go there. We'll make it another topic because
Yeah, because that's another topic on its
I
own.
heard in this Ghanaian
Because
men.
even in Africa, the way we show romance is different. How we define
Yeah,
our romance is different.
yes. When we talk about the verbal abuse in a relationship, let's start with that one. Constant make some points on verbal, finance, and sexual. When it comes to the verbal abuse, in my point of view, and it's a question and also a statement, women are very strong when it comes to the verbal abuse on men. You know, there was one comedian that said that if you want to be a woman, you need to prove it. How? It is only a woman that would take a compliment and make an argument out of it. Hey, today you are beautiful. So the other days I
Yes,
wasn't.
I wasn't.
Uh-huh. So you see, how are some of these verbal abuse being demonstrated in relationships? How do they demonstrate it? And how will you recognize that the way this thing is going is an abuse? How do you recognize such things?
Verbal abuse, yeah. And mostly when abuse in a relationship, see that the way when we see ourselves, or probably when you meet your loved one, initially how you talk.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the nice words that you say to your partner. Oh, I miss you. I love you. You are the only mosquito in my net, and those, that kind of.
I love that one.
The only hamatan for poor. The words that we use to woo ourselves. You
Mm-hmm.
say this, yeah, to make the head swollen and stuff, and then the woman gives you her all. Most often the men, they don't even mean the words, but they are saying it just to get to the woman, or
Mm-hmm.
the other way around. I wouldn't be biased, hammering on the men abusing the women, because it's like it's both ways as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So the way we sort of give sweet words to the
Just a
time.
moment. Papa, to Papa Justice Atujura, I just sent you a link. So if you click on it, it will direct you to the studio. We need you here. Thank you very much.
So it's like when the relationship is going bad, this time around, you don't hear the sweet words again.
Mm-hmm.
It's like every time they are looking for the negative things you are doing and hammering on it. Sometimes even in a good relationship, or basically in a normal relationship where something goes wrong, one partner is supposed to strengthen the other. Oh, sweetheart, what you did was wrong. You could have done it this way. Saying it's a nice way for the person to see that, okay, what I did was wrong. I wouldn't repeat it the next time. But here, no. Hey, this some of the people, they will mention your name. Maybe he used to call you honey sweetheart. He wouldn't say that. He would just come mention your name straight away. Of course, yeah. And the
Mm-hmm.
tone with which it is being used, or probably if it's a woman, he come Kwesi Papa. This time it's no more honey or that kind of sweetheart. Kwesi Papa, Adra Papa. Or he mentions your name. You see that there's trouble somewhere, and then he starts bringing out all negative things. I mean, all the negative things, the bad things, start coming on you, and it's like you feel so bad. Some people will also retaliate.
Mm-hmm.
There are some people who will keep quiet, keep it within them, but some will also throw it at you. You say it, and he also say it. If you say it, you also, and that is where the conflict starts coming. Before you realize a man cannot take more of the insults from women, he would like to throw a punch or use their hands. You
Mm-hmm.
see, and that is where the hurting, the physical abuse really comes in. So it's like from verbal abuse, something just come in. And most women, see that women have sharp tongues. Most of the women, that is her disadvantage. The
Mm-hmm.
least thing, she will rattle, rant, and say all the nasty things to you. And
Mm-hmm.
most men, apart from men who were really raised by women, who you see them, most of the men who were raised by women, they act womanly, so that they exchange words with you like woman to woman. But those who are really like a man figure in their life would rather use the hand, trying to silence you, because for that, most fathers, that is the way they discipline their boys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's like when a man like that to see say, so you are insulting me, and when a man is being the dignity of a man is being insulted or is being looked at, he feels so bad that no, I also have to show you that I'm a man. So
Mm-hmm.
then let me throw punch on your mouth. I mean, your mouth that you are using to spit on the button. Let me just shut it up to you. And that is where it gets very terrible. And
Mm-hmm.
society always sort of we have pity on women when it gets to that level. We don't really listen to the man. All we see is that he has punched the woman is hurt. You can see the physical bruises and that, and then it ends up with the law because it becomes a crime to sort of do that. And those in Europe here where the the women know that the men will not beat them, you can't do that in Europe here. So
Mm-hmm.
for that one, she will verbally abuse you. The
Mm-hmm.
only thing you can do is probably to walk out
Mm-hmm.
as a man. The only thing you can do, walk out or probably lock yourself alone in your room and sort of lament on your own. Other than that, for in African homes, hey, most of the men will not tolerate that. It will get to physical abuse.
Thank you very much. And what will you say, Sunshine? The women know verbal abuse, how does it look like? Do even
Hmm.
women realize they're abusing someone verbally? Sunshine.
Yes, I think they know, but they can't control their mouth.
Ah.
Um, okay, you can equally argue yourself to the fact that you don't agree or disagree with what is being discussed or what is happening at that point, without being insultive, without being saying things that will hurt the other partner. You understand? But I think in our culture, when a woman is not supposed to have a say, or she doesn't need to talk too much. So when you begin to talk too much, it's like you are trying to be disrespectful, and then it will all boil and come down to being abusive. Okay, so being abusive is where you are being insulting, like using harsh words or whatsoever. But I think that everybody listening to me right now can equally argue their facts without insulting. We are very insultive when it comes to African women. We can't just say one sentence without insulting inside, without making you feel like what you can equally uh set your facts right, you understand, without making the person feel, playing on the person's intelligence to make the person feel stupid, or the person will be like, is it me you are talking to like that, you understand? So I think, yes, women, we run our mouth a lot, but if we will run it positively, I think it will not be abusive.
It will be a help to the
Good.
family.
Yeah.
I want to say something to what someone said. When you are being raised by a woman, you act differently. And when you are being raised by a man, then the physical part comes in. Let me use myself as an example. I was raised by my mom, and for sure, I had actually a mom who was acting like her father.
Yeah, man.
I had both. And that's why I said that there was one live that we did, and I realized that there are things that I actually bring out which I didn't realize it might be a form of abuse. Like, my mom will quickly say that use your brain.
Mm,
Actually, she
Mm,
has not insulted you. But let's take it back to our dialect as we are Africans. It is telling you you are foolish.
you're a fool.
You understand? So now, if I get used to that kind of speech and you are with your partner, you'd be like, oh, you could have used your
It's your brain.
have
Yeah.
insulted your partner.
Yeah.
You see, the damage that is being done back home and with our parents, they don't recognize
Yeah.
because it's part of it. Papa said something. He said that even with two kids, the father slapped. In the same way, my mom told me something similar. And they were saying this thing, or let's say my mom was saying this thing to prove to me that even when you are old, you are not above.
Yeah.
But it's an abuse. If your mom slapped you at that age, number one, it's a disgrace. Number two, it is telling you still up to your age. You have that, you see,
Yeah.
a certain culture, we need to also kind of update it a little bit and bring some understanding and some love. You understand? So those back, they don't understand. So in their relationship, you know, when I tell, say, "Okraye kolo," and I see a lot of homes, they use those things to their partner. "Okraye kolo," that means you're old fashioned.
Good
How can
fashion.
you tell your partner you are old fashioned? How can you, in front of people, say, "Oh, no cry, oh, is nothing in there"? They're joking, but they don't know the implication. I might
Yeah.
respect Constance so much. Constance will come and visit me, and then my wife will say, "Oh, cry, nothing in bed." You will go out there and be like, "Hey, minister." You abuse mostly, and those words mostly comes from the female part and those that were brought up by women, because women are emotional. They
Yeah.
have certain words that is common and normal to them. And one thing about women that I love so much, they don't have any breaks. When a woman start dissing you, you be like, "Oh, honey, here, come down. Hey, I'll make it." They want to show everything. So imagine I'm being brought up. God be so good. My mom was not that way. Imagine I'm being brought up by such a mother who will be like, "Baby, I have to show all that." So that means when I get angry, there's no break.
Yeah.
And then the next thing, the man part will come in, then I have to throw my hand. So you see, these are things we don't get to know. So I asked this question because mostly we don't know. We don't really know that we are verbally abusing our partner.
Abuse, yeah.
And I only said women, men do that too. But women,
And Minister, you know one thing too. Most often, the people who do it, it looks like nobody corrects them. They even get support from friends or probably from family. It's like he comes, today, do you know what your brother this and this is what? So I told him my peace of mind. Then people are like, oh yes, you did well. Oh, while you are there, you've done so well. You should have next time do this, do that. You see, and that is where it's even become worse. So at that point, the person being verbally abused, he doesn't even realize that what he or she is doing is bad,
bad.
because he is getting support from people who are even making it worse. Yep.
That's true.
Mhm.
That's true. You know, the people around you will always make you prove it. And now
Mhm.
how you will prove it will make you look. You go out and your friend will be like, your husband said that to you if it
To
was
you,
me.
yeah.
And you come home and you
Mhm.
want to show your lady power. Even the queer say, who is a queer? You understand? And
Yeah.
kind of verbal abuse that we also don't notice. Let's say me as a man or you as a woman one day told me, didn't you see this thing on the floor? Can you pick it? Whatever. The woman or the man will grab it, put it in the side pack of the bank of the hat. The next time you drop something, you remember the last time you told me. So now the partner, whether woman or female, will be like, now I'm afraid to even approach my partner because
Yeah.
immediately I come up, this is the bomb that is going to come.
Yeah.
And yes, saying this is what the person will say. So then you be like, you are abusing your partner
Yeah.
because the person is somehow crying. He's not free. He cannot
Yeah.
really express
Emotionally, the
exactly.
person is down. Yeah.
So from the verbal, we get to the emotional part because those words now don't only hurt, verbally or
Yeah.
how you see physically, but emotionally, you become timid, you become slow, or you become aggressive,
So,
and
yeah.
nobody knows the action about it. The next point, please, for me, the financial abuse. You explained a little bit when there's no money, the man wants to control. Are you sure it's the man that mostly controls the money? We are in Europe. Oh.
Um, so
Mhm.
I would like to add something to what you just ended up. Um,
Then you come to my question, please.
some yeah. Then I come to the question. So some of these people, they don't even take advice.
Mm-hmm.
They don't
Mm-hmm.
take advice at all. You cannot even go and report them to their own father or their own mother. They,
Mm-hmm.
they are above confrontation because they believe what they are doing is right, or they believe that
Right.
they must teach as if you are their child. You understand? They must teach you sense or something. So they don't need any confrontation from anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Coming to the financial abuse, this, You know, before you see someone who is financially abusing you, that person is coming from really a hungry home from childhood. And the, and the father and the mother, I'm sorry, but yeah, certainly demonstrated some kind of financial abuse also from and you saw it and you grew up with it, because I'm always like, what is money for cockroach? You understand? Obedia
Mhm.
tete ase no. Cockroach doesn't know what is money. So if you have a little, they say those who have a little will share with you, and when they have much, they'll equally share with you. So if you have small and you think that, oh, it's not that much, but let's manage it and let everybody be happy. You know, sometimes this, the other part of it, if we talk now, people will say we are saying the men and the women. So me, I like to be neutral in every
Yeah.
discussion. So just the little that is there, just make sure that you manage it so that there would be peace. Most of these other partners don't really need the money, but they are all so much, they are just to try you small to see if whether when you have, how would you give me, or how are you going to, how how dense are you really with your finances, you understand? So if there is no money at home, or you have just lost your job, and so you are trying to get back on track, and the little money you want to know how to manage it, I believe, speak with your partner.
Mhm.
Speak, talk about it. Oh, this is the money I have there. And when you open up on your finances, nobody, your partner is not going to like, you know, this saying in African proverbs that what has been covered, and what is being left open, nobody goes in to look what is there, but what has been covered, everybody will want to go and look what is inside, that you've covered it. You
Mhm.
understand? So if your finances, you don't even talk about it, you don't let nobody, like, I see there's some huge amounts hiding somewhere. That's why you are hiding things. But if you open up and say, oh, I'm being paid maybe at the end of the month, this amount, even if you don't tell the person how you are breaking down your money, the person should think and know that you pay your rent, you do this, you do this, you do that. And whatever is left wouldn't be much that he or she has to come and fight with you over that money. But if you don't talk about it, and yeah, then how do you expect the other partner should be satisfied with the financial aspect of the whole thing?
Mm.
Secondly, there are some other people, I think I'm taking everything. There are some other people that are really mean. And these are the ones that I said they suffered it from childhood. You understand? There was so much poverty at home that when they grew up, they are hoarding, over hoarding. You know, they just want to, because they haven't been exposed to money. So they must almost they are really like, every money, every, like, you know, there are some people, every cent is worth for them. You don't joke
Mhm.
with money. You
Yeah.
understand? And you go and buy something, and they'll be like, you, there's no money and you're always buying. I like, is it a mad person who goes out and buy and bring it home? It's a sensible person. You needed the thing. That's why you went to buy it.
Mm. I am kind of disagreeing with you on 2 points. The first point is, there are people that might not be wanting to hoard the money, and there are people too that might be transparent. But we have natural people that are greedy.
Yep.
They are
And the
greedy.
greedy ones are also stingy.
Exactly. They want to keep theirs and make
Just
sure they
yeah,
own yours. And
yeah.
then later on, whether they are building houses, home, or whatever, is another thing. So it is whether transparent or not, it is still there. I don't really think say it's only these people. And I think the last one she said she's frozen till she cannot give me that point again. I think you will have to go out and
Yeah,
come.
and coming. I hope Mekon is not the one being on the internet.
Let me
Yeah.
just I'll say no, 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 no. You have fantastic and intelligent women today who
No, thank
who
you.
are really making my evening. Thank you. That is Papa Justice. I'll say please, it's not only men that are physical at times. Thank you. And then Becky Hassan says that what is the topic? Yes, I just dropped it there. It's about getting out of abusive relationships. Okay. So people are afraid to leave abusive relationship because of the tag. As a failure or bad personality, our community, African mentality does not allow us to seek for help in such situations. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. We'll get there. On this year, Baba Coupe, this time I have with my girlfriend never appreciated or
Mm.
of anything I do until someone else saying similar thing to me before she starts to say it. What I observe from some women when they had the opportunity, fala, they abuse it, thinking it's their responsibilities to be where she is. What do you do when you realize you and your girlfriend have almost the same character? Johnny, I need answer to the question. Since we know ourselves and the character I knew from day one remained the same upon all three kids are in. Yes, yes, yes.
Mhm.
I think this comment I was having it with my darling queen, and I was like, you know something. They say that cold and warm meet together, and that makes it. Gemma says that gegensätze and minus and plus gets together. Immediately, you get to know that your partner is becoming you yourself. I don't believe you marry yourself.
Yeah.
That is my comment.
Okay.
My grandmother slapped me because I didn't give my son food.
Oh my God.
Mama,
Hey,
mama,
serious grammar.
mama, when I see grandma, I'll talk to her for you.
That is African discipline. You see, you've even given birth. Your mother is also still
Still mother.
disciplining you.
Mother always remain mother. That one we have absolutely I have to talk. Mr. Justice, I also talk to the slap. We'll just have to deal with it. Welcome is at the backside, they laugh. Yeah, so please, I think Sunshine has said much about the finance part. What about the sexual part? The sexual
Okay, let me also add a little to the finance.
finance, okay.
Yeah, the financial abuse. In financial abusive relationship too, it sometimes turn one way, one person demanding always from the other.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't mind where you get it from, or sometimes they even know your financial standing, but they will still demand just because it's like the person is somehow fed up with the relationship. So the only way to prove to you that, oh, I still love you, is to provide you money or probably certain demands that you need, I have to give to you. And that becomes a form of abuse. And mostly we find out that from, it's like most women abuse men when it comes to finances.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's like for women, because we can keep ourselves from sex for a long time, men cannot do that. So even if he's on bad terms with you, he still needs to sleep with you. And that is where the woman is coming to terms. Hey, unless you give me this. Last time I asked you for this. So before you come and sleep with me, you have to provide. And the man is like, okay, because the sexual urge is so much, let me give in. Even without he himself like he has not really planned for that, but then he has to give in. And the few instances where the women are also financially abused is where a man is also taking advantage of the woman.
Mm,
It's like he sees it that the woman loves him more than he loves the woman. So for you to maintain me, then you need to give me what I ask for. There are some men who really like to depend on women's money. When he comes and it's like, oh, I need this, oh, I need that, financially abusing you because he knows that you love him more than he loves you. So to maintain the relationship, then provide what he wants. Yeah.
mm-hmm. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Sunshine said, let me read this one. You all get to know what I'm talking about too. I say I'm coming to the sexual part. Well,
Yeah,
let
that's where we talk a lot. that would take most. That would take most of the topic here.
I like Constance Ball. You want to take the way you're smiling with the Atafrin and Okra.
So we let her go before the internet starts messing up. So
No, now I'm using. I don't even know my the whole house. The internet is off. It's
it's yeah,
yeah.
okay.
I need to sue these people. Eh? So, oh, so the sexual partner, the sexual abuse, ne?
I can see.
You know when when they have actually you know these abusers are most of them before somebody even abuse you verbally, the person is an emotional abuser, then becomes a financial abuser because everything is like a package, you know. It is not just one. Mostly it's a package. It's from this step one to step two to step three to, you know, as the time goes by, one it's intertwined with each other, with another thing. So before the person will become a sexually abused person, now we're abusing with other things. Until when it gets in the night, when it gets to the night in the bed, no, after he has annoyed you the whole day with the other things, no, he still comes back and think that he has rights over you. As usual, they are bullies. Any abuser is a bully. So they still keep on keeping on, even when you are asleep and you are not waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning. And he is annoying him. He still feels like you have to wake up. Not even lying down and having a nap is just annoying him. You have to get up. You understand? So when it comes to the sexual part of it, after they have annoyed you with the other parts of the abuse, they still believe that they own you.
Mm.
And then that is when they will even ask for the extreme. I don't know where they go and get the other styles from. That is when they will ask you to do nonsense to them, to I don't know whether they need to satisfy some kind of devil in them or whatever. I don't know. Definitely it's a devil, because you can't abuse somebody and you are a saint. You understand? So they believe they own your body, and then they can do whatever they want to do with you, have you anytime they want to have you, and it's very normal. You understand? They feel it's normal. So I'm taffering my ano. I'm not taffering my ano.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Probably it's from the word of God. It says that don't, don't keep yourself away from your partner. Until after fighting, you have to go in.
These
Uh-huh.
are the people, yes, minister. These are the people that they like to misinterpret the submissiveness. You understand? They believe
Yep,
when you have to be a submissive woman, then you have to be a dormant for them
yep.
to walk over you or something like that. So yeah, that's where they take over. They take over, and whether you want it or not, well, it's just sarcastic.
Hmm. Thank you very much. So, Constance. Hmm.
Yes, when it comes to sexual abuse, and usually the difficult one, it's for them within marriage.
Hmm.
For those who are just in a relationship, um, it's not it's not a big deal because it gets to a point that you can really leave. But where it's in a marriage relationship, that is where it's very difficult. Sometimes maybe you have one or two kids. Women, when it gets to the point where kids are smaller, probably you want to be on family planning, it becomes a bit of a challenge for you.
Hmm.
And it's like your husband is not really cooperating with you. You see, it's like, oh, most men, the edge is in. I have to sleep with you, whether you like it or not. You know, that is where it have to be. But in most marriages, even sexually, some couples are being abused. It could even be the man or the woman, and that is where sometimes it's very, very difficult for
Hmm.
those who they are. You see that those who are married, you see that no, the husband or the wife is treating the partner very, very bad, but it's not easy coming out. It's not easy coming out. For relationship, for normal relationship, sometimes people can enforce it so that you tend to leave when the red flags are so much, because that one the commitment is not so much.
Hmm.
Sometimes somebody has maybe it could be that you have a child with somebody. Those who are not married, he has a child with you. The fact that he has slept with you once and have a child with you, he thinks anytime that he comes closer to you, he can sleep with you.
Mm-hmm.
You see, and so you see that most of them are also being abused. The single mothers, the fathers of their children. It's like when he comes because he thinks he has rights over you. So if you are not so strong, he comes in, come and sleep with you, and then go away. So these are some of the things that we see in sexual abuse in most relationships. For the marriages, usually is difficult. That is why when it gets to marriages, you really need to seek counseling. You really need to seek counseling because most often it's a bit difficult because marriage is hard that you cannot refuse your husband. Where should he? You want him to go out or what? You need to be there. But some couples do not cooperate when it comes to sex. And the man will always have his way. So he said that, oh, I'm not in the mood. He raped me. And who are you going to report to that your husband has raped you? you know. And and there are also instances where some men, because they are going through certain challenges, there's something we call midlife crisis for most men. And when it gets to that, their sexual libido is a bit down. They cannot sleep with their wives. There's so much is happening. He's paying school fees. He wants to put up a project. Families are pulling him. A whole lot of things are happening at the same time. So sometimes some men, when they get to that age, they cannot really. It's like the sex becomes secondary. He doesn't even think of sleeping with a woman too much, and that is where the woman too is like, this time I also want it. So the woman can tend to sort of rape the husband, or probably that is where she forces that, no, you have to sleep with me at all costs. Where you don't really sit down to talk about it, that maybe this and this is what I'm going through. Probably I need your support. The communication is not there. So she also thinks it's my right that once I feel for sex, you have to sleep
Okay,
with me.
I think there are many men out there listening. They'll be like, which woman want to rape and rape?
But can I just come in? I don't think that it's easy on the women's side to do that, because there must be a clip
Oh,
in the machine gun, and if the machine gun is not active, how can you?
that is the thing. A man can get up anytime. As long as it it has something with the mind. And women mostly say this thing that men are moved by what they see.
You see, yeah.
No,
So,
no, Minister, but
mhm.
Constance was saying that when they have too much crisis and whatever, and then they are down, so then the women are also demanding. But if he's down and demanding, how can it?
Oh, that's
Oh, she can do it.
the blood circle. Oh.
Yeah.
It
That
can
what she
be,
would do, what she would do is probably to grab it by force, sort of start stimulating it for it to rise up. But the
Then
moment
you
is
before it's right, then you were ready. You were ready. So you like the thing.
but emotionally, maybe your mind is not ready. You see, maybe because of the challenges. There are some men like
Yeah,
that. Sometimes
they
some
are
of
sick.
them will
Yeah,
just push
those
you
ones they
aside.
are sick,
Yeah.
because
Some of them will just push you aside. Sometimes when you speak with some women, they are like, oh,
when they come home and they are like that, when they go somewhere else, it's quick starter. But it's because you are collecting school fees, you are collecting rent, they are paying everything for you in the house, and it's the same old thing for the past 15 years.
but
That is
Sasha,
why
let me
it's
say
like that.
something. What you are saying is when your partner is the reason why your sex drive is going down.
down.
That is
Yeah.
when, even when they do whatever, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And if it is about just the school fees, which has nothing got to do with my partner, but this one is calling me there, trust me, the feeling might not be there. But since your partner is not the reason, when she touches you now, emotionally you are touched, but you don't like. I don't feel like it's different from I don't want to.
Yeah.
You see, so I don't feel like doing it. But the thing is ready, don't you know? They can rape you. Like I said, people are waiting to be raped. So please. Good. Let me get to the last point so that now we hit on the point on how possible people can get out,
Okay.
because we have talked about this verbal, financial, sexual, and we mostly know that the victims are even claiming say it's their fault, it's because of this, it's because of that. And we had some nice comments that came here that was saying that it is not only it's not only men that are physically abusing, what again? Men abusing women, exactly. And then I have a comment here so that we get to it. We have got to know that all this verbal finance thing moves also a man or a woman to now become aggressive and physical. So I know a woman who even beats their husband and boyfriend because they know the man cannot raise their hands on them. That is the European standard. In Africa, somebody will beat you black and blue, you forget that you're a woman. So, unfortunately, I hope STH means something, right? Or sometimes, I don't know, something. Not talked about is how women can also be abusive. I have noticed that many don't leave abusive relationships sometimes because of no support from families and friends. They tell you to persevere. Okay. So the physical abuse, when do women become physically abusive? Because we are talking about the weaker vessel and the strong vessel, the one that can use the mouth and the one that can use their muscles to do things. So when do you think it comes to a point that a woman will now physically beat the husband up black and blue and the man cannot do anything? Even if you go to a police station, they will still laugh at you. When does it come to that point? Sunshine, when do you think you can beat your partner?
I
Which
think this thing is temperament. It has to do with temperament issues. There are some people that they can't control their temper, that whenever it rises, they need to shoot out their hands or legs whatsoever before throw things at you, and that is when they get satisfaction. So I don't think that this category of people intentionally wishes to. So you see that when it gets to that stage, these people, when they are going through um counseling whatsoever, they easily, or when they are after they have done the act, they quickly apologize, or they are very apologetic also, because it's something controls them. It's the temperament issue that makes them to just raise their hands, and some will just take a stool, their kitchen stool. They will just rip you if you don't dodge. You will just hear it over your head like this. So, I'm sorry.
so I could recognize you have already given a reason to why somebody can be physically abused in your statement.
Yes.
Like it's not their fault, but then it's out of temper. You see, and these are some of the excuses the victims. It's not his fault. I even provoked him. But to my knowledge, there is no reason whatsoever why a man or a woman's first decision should be, I'm raising my hand. For me,
Min-
there's
Minister, there's no reason. But
Mhm,
you realize that if you would cast your mind back, there are some people, they are always fighting right from childhood.
mhm,
These are the people who grow up and then they get into abusive, physically abusive, in
mhm,
their relationships. You understand? They go to school or they go to wherever. Any little thing, they will fight right now. So it is not the relationship that turned them to fighters, but
right.
they are naturally temporally temperamentally or whatever. Don't let me speak.
It's something that is within them. It's like they've
Yes,
seen,
something that is within them that makes them
let's
want to
say,
fight.
the way to sort of provide solution or solve conflict is through physical fights.
Mhm,
There are some people really like that. Just as a Gifty said,
mhm,
the temperament. There are some people who are, the person can be so passionate, he can be so loving, but his other side is so bad. When the moment he gets angry, he becomes so, it's like that kind of tough anger. Your adrenaline level is so much, you don't seem to know how to control your anger. The only way to do it is sort of hit the person for you to be satisfied, or probably inflict a different kind of pain. Some would abuse you until they see blood coming out of you before they would be free that, yes, I've really inflicted the pain that I have to do it to you. Do you know? That is why most often it's always advisable that you study your partner very well. The person, yeah, you look at your temperament, because sometimes some of these things are hidden. The
Mm-hmm.
person will not let you see his or her other side. Even though they will show some light examples, or they will show something to tell you that this is how the person is. Maybe some scenario will come, you see that the way the person will react, the first one should even be a signal, a red flag, and tell you that, oh, this is how the person. But most often, because we are blinded by love, oh, maybe it's just that he's not really like that, or he might change.
It's
You
in a
start
bad.
giving, he's in a bad mood. And the way they do it, and they usually wouldn't start with you, they start with outsiders.
Mm-hmm.
How they treat them, how they treat their sisters, their cousins, their friends. It should tell you that no, when he is with you and it gets to that point, he will do the same thing to you. Yeah. So that's it.
There's one thing my mom actually taught me or told me before I entered into any relationship. She said that if you want to know the real character of someone, just provoke that person whilst you are
Yeah.
dating.
Yeah.
You see, so to me, and I'm not trying to blame anybody who is going through any physical abuse or whatever, but the thing is, probably you might have not done your homework well, because all these things you need to talk about, you need to try, you need to provoke the person before to see how far the person can go. Is the person willing to change? We have identified the problem. You are an abuser. We are seeking for help. Are you ready for a counselor? All these things. And when you see that the person is a macho kind of, you don't be like, Charlie, the car that I'm in, the kind of figure I want, a tall man, 6 pack, 7 pack, 18 pack, because the guy is kind, because he can go down on me very well. You understand? But then this character is exactly what you're going to live with when that love fades away. The anger, the beating, the verbal, the whatever. So that is something that actually helped me and built me up. So we have the physical, we have the sexual, we have the finance. Of course, there are more. But imagine you are a woman or you are a man, and then you are going through the verbal, the financial, the sexual, and the physical abuse, emotional, however we call it all. What actually makes it so difficult for you to get out of danger zone? You see, the last time
Yeah.
he threw the chair. The other
Mm-hmm.
one, he almost used a knife. The other time, he used the television. He spoiled everything. So, which one are you waiting for till somebody tells you, run for your leg? Like, what could be the reason? We have some here. They say that sometimes the support from the family and friends are
Yeah.
not there. Then I think it was very short. Just give me a second. Yes. People are afraid to, that is here from Empress, or say people are afraid to leave abusive relationship because of the tag
Yeah.
as failure or bad personality. Our community, African mentality, does not allow us to seek for help, not even help. No, no, I'm
Yeah.
talking.
Yeah.
So how can that be? You are dying, they are beating you. Last time was your arm, the other one was your head.
Yeah.
Why can't we? How will you get out, or what will be the next step? Let me put it that way.
Hmm. For for those in abusive relationship, it's very, very difficult, because sometimes, just as initially Gifty said, they don't even see it as you. When you are outside, you see it.
Mm-hmm,
And if you don't tread cautiously, you become an enemy to them.
mm-hmm,
Yeah, because love, it's a sort of bond, especially where you sleep with somebody, with one person over a long time. You realize that because of the exchange of fluids, you are you are sort of spiritually bound to that person.
mm-hmm,
So it's very difficult sort of breaking that tie.
mm-hmm,
For those who it gets to where the physical abuse is so much, so that it is causing harm on your body. Mentally, you are not doing well. Sometimes you don't even have to wait for somebody to tell you. Some of them will be like, for the sake of the kids, for the sake of the kids. If you don't take time, you die and leave the kids. You see, so it's like it's a big decision. It's a big decision. Then that one it cuts across globally. Those in Europe, some men are abusing women, men are abusing women are abusing men across Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's really it's a big decision. But then before you really come out of that, make sure you put certain things in place. In Africa, most often there are some tribes that even when you marry into the man, it's like your family has dashed you to the man. No matter what you go through, don't come back.
Don't come back. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So even if you die in the hands of the man, just stay there. So there are things that you are supposed to do to yourself as a man, as a woman, mostly because women are the underdogs here.
Mm-hmm.
Try and get a trade or something that gives you income. That gives you income so that you can be self-sufficient. That is the first step. Because if you don't do anything, every time your mind is being engaged, you think, oh, without this man, my life has come to an end. There is not, it's like you don't know the way forward for yourself. So the best thing is to, as much as possible, get a trade. Anything that you do to get you an income so that you can be financially free. You don't depend on the person so much. And then most often we recommend separation. That is where in married couples
Mm-hmm.
recommend separation so that sometimes when you are separated from some people for some time, you study and see if you can sort things out. You provide counseling, but then you separated. It's like there's not so much, you don't have so much in contact. In
Mm-hmm.
Europe here, I think when they go through separation, it's like the laws are a bit more. They give you restriction. You are not supposed to come within certain radius, like maybe from 5 meter apart. You are not supposed to be at where the other person is. But in Africa, that is where usually we don't do that. It's like you are just separated. Okay, go to your parents' house or for some time. The man can come in at any time. They come and fight. But if you think living now, you are missing each other, you are learning from your mistakes, you can give yourselves
Mm-hmm.
another chance, then you go back. Some separate, they go, it works. Some separate, they go, and it becomes worse
Mm-hmm.
than it used to be. So in all that, at the end of the day, the decision lies with you, the individual. Those at the back, they'll give you their advice, they'll give you their suggestions, but you are within the hot waters. You know how it is burning. So if there's anything that you can do, human life is just one. If you don't take certain decisions to protect yourself and your kids, definitely if you should die, we will come to your funeral, we eat the jollof and then go back.
Yeah, chicken.
You see, so your life is very, very precious. Being a man or a woman, we shouldn't allow somebody to abuse us to the extent that it's like you don't even feel human again. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sunshine, is she frozen or out of the
Yes.
This
Yeah.
I'm not
uh,
in check.
so please,
So
yes.
I would like to take my time and talk. These abusers are bullies. They don't only they don't only capitalize on your weakness, they also play on your intelligence. You understand?
Mm,
So as an individual, every individual, know yourself, know your worth, especially women, know your value. Men being abused by women too, know your value. Look, if you stay in that relationship uh, for the next 20 years or 30 years, for your children, supposedly your children to grow. Now, these children are growing up and they are even coming out worse than even being raised single handedly because they saw this abuse at home and they are even mentally depressed. You understand?
they're
If you
graduates.
if you don't happen to get if you don't happen to get a counselor or a psychiater, what do you call it? A psychiatrist for the family to save these children at a very, very early stage. They are going to grow up and they are going to have a different concept about relationship and marriage. which you the mother or you the father, you yourself, you are struggling with your abuse, so you don't even know. All you know is that the children went to school, they came home, they've done their homework, they are laughing. Of course they are kids. Kids carry a lot which we don't get to know. They carry a whole lot of baggage which we don't get to find out. You understand? Sometimes you even ask them, is everything okay? They'll tell you yes. They are playing amongst themselves and they are happy. But when they are quiet, or their subconscious mind feed them later with whatever they saw, whatever they heard, is it going to help them? Is it going to help you? So for me, in my own opinion, I think that it's always better if you know it's not what you bargain for. When you buy something and you don't like it, you have some days to to contemplate on it and know whether you want it or not. You return it. So if you have entered a marriage for the first year till the fifth year till the 10th year, you realize you are being abused, and this abusive person, your abuser, is not changing. You have consulted people to speak with him, family, pastors, whatever, and he himself doesn't see it as, my wife is or my husband is complaining about this. Let me give it a second thought. What could it be that she doesn't like? What could it be that he does like? That is why he's always raising my attention to it, that, oh, maybe this and this and this I don't like. And he or she thinks that he's always doing the best thing. He or she thinks that he's always doing the right thing. You don't have any say. I don't know what you, that person, you are still doing in whatever you are calling a relationship or a marriage. It is better you leave it, because if you are there for 30 years, the person will never change. You will never be happy. You would have realized that you have wasted 30 years of your sanity. The rest, who should come and carry it? You would realize that you are no more normal. You realize that you read stupid meaning, excuse my language. You realize that you read silly meaning into the next relationship that you are going, what the person does. You read silly meanings into it because of where you are coming from. Your sanity is not correct. It is better you leave it and move on, and let the world be a better place for us to live. Stop staying in abusive relationship and stop staying in abusive marriages, and afterwards come and give unnecessary testimonies. Unnecessary testimonies how God helped you and you came out. God did not help you to come out. God showed you the signs. You're supposed to come out early, because at the end of the day, it will do you more harm than better. So the earlier the better you come out of it, it will help you, because when you were coming out of your mother's womb, you were not given any manual that this is your future husband, this is your future wife. It is you that carry the person, went to show God. And the Bible says, whatever we present before God, God says you matter, and he blesses it for you. So if he has blessed it for you, you've taken it home and you realize that no, it's not okay. Go to him and again and tell him, Father, what you gave, what I brought to you, I have realized that it is not good. Please, I cannot take it again. I want to leave it. And leave it. If it is yours, it will roam and come back to you. You will still be available.
My memo that Roslav said, Sasha, it's not that easy.
See.
I think she has been trying to get out of hers. It's not working.
Who said it's
You
not
know,
easy?
Please come again.
It's not. Who said it's not easy?
Ajwa Roslav.
Ajaros, yeah,
Okay, it is not
that
easy
usually come
because
out,
you
yeah.
haven't. It is not easy because these people have not, their comfort zone is very, very, their comfort zone is very, very, they feel very comfortable in their comfort zone. So now they'll be like, if you don't just get up day one and leave your marriage. You don't just get, maybe relationship, yeah. The person has his own apartment, you have your own apartment, probably. Just
Yeah.
stay apart for a while. But if it's marriage, you need a break. Learn to go with your children alone on such long vacations like summer holidays, so that this your abuser would see your worth when you are not there. But when you are there 24/7, what is not easy about it? Learn to separate yourself from your abuser for some times. so that he will see your worth, so that you yourself, you can reinigen. How do you call it?
You can cleanse yourself. You see,
You can cleanse yourself.
Corona has challenged a lot of relationship this year and last year. That is the problem. We have seen those that are standing and still working. Well,
Yeah,
thank you both
yeah.
for your advice. Let me
And
quickly
then I think, okay, you can read and I'll put
if
in
you
one
report to your parents, they will tell you to
to
pray.
pray.
The G and GH, I don't know, but I think GH is for Ghana family
Mhm.
and or change. And since we marry with family, etc., it's hard to go out, to go off it. Sorry. Then on this year, and today I'll mention the name. On this year, I think what Sunshine and Constance are saying is true. Before someone raise hand on the partner, it's based on temperament. There are women who are the cause of the physical abuse. Why saying so? They push you against the wall. They don't know how to calm the situation down when your temper is high. Somehow I agree with you. No man would love to hate his own woman he claimed to be his loved one. And sometimes men who okay, when they are stammer, okay, are quickly high tempered. Okay, thank you. And that is where Rosie says that sunshine, it's not that easy. Or say, some have no one to go to. Family will even reject you. And the last point is, please, sunshine, yours is the fertile. Is it fertile?
Fairy tale.
Oh, sorry. Okay, fairy tale getting out of real abusive home, no money and vacation, no money to even buy a ticket, no money to even get a hostel. Okay,
Hmm.
spirit. Okay, thank you. So you see, somebody don't have the money, and that is why God said that when you get into it, a marriage, not an abusive marriage, when you're getting into
Yeah.
a marriage, the way we did that, when you're getting into the marriage, try to get something somewhere, whether it's a business, it's whatever, so that you can not be the boss lady and say, me too, I have something
Yeah.
on my account, but some reserve somewhere so that when something happens now, you can also travel with it. You can have a cool down, go for massage, go for treatment, and then you will feel good. Yes, thank you very much. Um, Let me quickly ask for the last advice for each one. Let's take the 5 minutes each. I know this is a topic we have actually broken down a lot of pieces together, but we couldn't really treat the whole thing. Probably we'll do like we did it before, come up with the verbal and physical abuse, the financial, the sexual, so that we can have time to break all these things
Not
out
done.
in 2022. But we have done well by summarizing and bringing everything together. So on this note, what will be your personal advice on how to come out of an abusive relationship or not to even enter before? What
Yeah.
would be the advice on the whole abusive relationship stuff?
Mhm. Yeah. What I would say is, for us as um, for us as Africans,
Mhm,
because of what we have been through, or whatever, the way we were being brought up, we are always being aggressive. In being good or bad, it has strengthened us. It has made us who we are. We can survive everywhere we go because we've been through thick and thin. But one thing we also have to learn and know is that when it comes to love, the way you love yourself, we should try as much as possible to transfer the love to our fellow partner. Love is to be enjoyed, or marriage relationship, any relationship, fiancé, fiance, we are supposed to enjoy, not to endure. Where you endure, that means something is wrong. You are just trying to, you are coexisting. You are not really, it's like the way we should experience the kind of love that we do. We are not getting it.
mhm,
And then it's also it's all the onus always lies on us. I would say more of the women, because we know how to tune a man to how we want him to be.
mhm,
If you are a woman, Know your man very, very well, inside out. Know his weak points. Know what triggers him. And then know how to tame him. Women, we are so powerful. If we would overlook certain things, control our emotions, we can capture our men as to how we want them to treat us. When in Africa we are being told a way to a man's heart is through the stomach. This time around, food is available everywhere. You can decide to. But then there are certain special food you can do for your husband. Every time he goes, he's coming to you.
Mhm.
Aside the food, we have the bedroom food. You know him very well. You know what he really wants. We shouldn't overburden the men with unnecessary arguments. One thing that really make the men really strike or the women always fighting is all because we always think the men are cheating or probably the man is going in for another woman.
Mhm.
You see, that is one trigger point that is always causing confusion within the relationship. The fact that you are seeing another person, you are trying to cheat on me and that kind of thing. That's why we say before you really go into know the person you are really going into. Stop
Mhm.
following what society is saying because it's like every time we want to please society. Oh, this guy is already a womanizer, but he came to you, think you can change him. You marry, and he's just like how it was. And it ends up instead of the relationship being abusive because you are trying to control him. And a man cannot be controlled that way. A man wants to be independent. So the onus really lies on we, the women. If we really want to have a peaceful home, we should tune our men to our hearts. We have the keys to do that. Above all, if you have tried everything and it seemed not to work, sometimes you can do your possible best. Nothing good will come out of it.
Mhm.
Nobody has told you, God did not create one person for that person.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, when you die and we go, we are going to be judged on our own. And even marriages are not even in heaven. It's only earth here that we are going to enjoy. So if you cannot enjoy here on earth, why do you have to suffer and die and then go and face the consequences the judgment? So you need to really make up your mind. If you go in and it fails, you are not a failure. Whether you a man or woman, you are not a failure. It's even an experience for you to open your eyes wide very well and know who the next person that comes into your life, how you are going to really treat the person. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Very wise word. Sunshine, take us through the rain.
Yeah. My final words will be like Constance said that Mrs. Nimako. Hey, I'm sorry. Like Mrs. Nimako said that marriage is not going to take us to heaven, but definitely would lead us to hell. So one has to be very careful that you are not going to take everything that is happening in the relationship, in the marriage, so like a World Cup, like serious, so serious that you have to hula baloo out of a situation. You understand? Sometimes I'm sure we the women we are also the cause of it. That is why it's getting sour or is getting out of hand. So please, I would say people who are into marriages, take it easy. Learn to joke more in the marriage. Learn to let your partner be your friend. Very good friend. You understand?
Yep.
Like I would say, when you look at our white people, like the whole of Africa, we look up to them. And that is why they brought the Bible. We took the Bible and we are reading it. So we look up to them. Just look at how they talk to each other in their marriages, it's hi Mark, do this, do that. It doesn't mean he doesn't love you anymore, she doesn't love you anymore. There's no respect. You people are friends. You have become friends. So you talk to each other. Charlie is cool. It should be easy. I believe it should
Yeah.
be easy. It should not be a World Cup. The moment you realize from the relationship that it's not being easy, it's not being smooth, don't get to the next level with it. If you cannot just move smooth with your partner, it should be a very smooth and easy because it's your friend. That is why most of the time they break up and then they become worse enemies. You understand? Along the line, something goes way out of proportion that is not supposed to be like that. So I would say that we should try as much as possible also not to tolerate abuse right from the onset. Right from the onset, you see traces of abuse. You
Yeah.
understand? You see it, but a lot of people overlook it.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, those who overlook it, or if you those who don't overlook it also, they try to tolerate, like they try to, maybe he will change because they are
You
looking for
change.
the marriage, because they are looking marriage ni hu hia no. So they will tolerate it so that they will just put the ring on their hand. But like, what are you going to do inside the marriage? Even in the relationship, no, you couldn't really. Then what are you going inside to go and do inside when you see all the red flags from the beginning? And I would say that women do not um do not tolerate abuse. You know, like I said, these abuse are bullies. When he's bringing it right there and then, correct him. You the woman or you the man, correct him. If he goes, there are so many fishes in the sea. After all, what?
Yes, very much. I will once again disagree with you, Sunshine. Once the heat is coming, or that is that was KK said, you know the heat is coming. And hold on, I have a chance on him correction.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. You know, for that moment, if you like, go in your room. If you like, do something else. Now later, now we'll cool it down. No? When you start pointing some points to bullies or a man or a woman later on, they feel, sorry to use the word, they feel stupid themselves in that.
Yeah.
That is where they learn most. But right now, boxing, everybody, you, oh, massa,
Yeah.
so, let me go into this. I'll say, what do you do if your husband will not allow you to work? Well, discuss it with them.
Yeah.
I'll say some women are not allowed to work. Thank you. So Empress said that Adwa Rose, yes, some men are scared of financial stable women, so they will do their best to keep them out to get a job. Okay, so they can manipulate them.
Them. Yeah.
Yes. What you do, the honestly, is diverse things. You cannot really say do this or do that, but you need to bring it to a topic and make sure, put down the points why you want to work, because it is two becomes one. It is not your
Yeah.
decision, it's not his decision, it is your decision together. So this topic should be discussed in churches, honestly, because people are going through a lot, both
Mm-hmm.
men. Thank you. So if I'll be allowed, I'd like to add my 50 cents to it. You know, abuse, the word abuse is being abused by a lot of people, the word abuse itself, because sometimes any little thing, hey, you're abusing me, and you're abusing me. I watched one when the therapist guy that, are you angry? I can see you're angry. The guy was like, I'm not angry, except the fact that you keep on saying I am angry.
Angry.
That makes me angry. So the moment everything, woman is abuse. One day he will abuse you though, so that you know the difference between before, now, and then. You understand? So let's stop abusing the word abuse. And one thing I wrote here, that you cannot change anyone,
Yeah.
but you can change for someone to change.
Mm-hmm.
That is educating someone in a way you should go. And like I said, sometimes we need to do our homeworks before. The homework is, you don't enter into, I mean, sorry, if you are Pentecost here, yeah, I'm sorry, but you don't just enter into marriage as the Pentecostal used to do. Now they don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
But you have something called courtship. You have a relationship. It's your friend. You get to know the person. So one of the beautiful advice my dad asked, or question my dad asked me was, the person you are going to marry, is it your friend? Is it
Yeah.
your best friend? Because my best friend, I would definitely know how he is. I will know how fast he can get angry.
Mm-hmm.
I'll definitely know some points. So me
Yeah.
going in, no, you can't deceive. You know, when you are with your guys, the things you talk about with your partner, your best friend, no, you cannot tell everyone. So it is easier to, how do you say, Jeva say hashtag, like put it away and pretend. But when it comes to your best friend, there's no pretend, because he
Yeah.
knows. You see? So these are some of the things. Get close to the person before you enter into marriage. Don't enter into marriage because of the things you see, the cars, the money. You end up coming to the social media and ending like all those
Mm-hmm.
slave queens that they are, and this Kwesi did me this and this. They're all frustrated.
Yeah.
And there's one thing that was being said. He said that marrying the family, please, if you're an African here, I'm sorry to announce to you that stop this kind of sentence now, Santifoye, Wari Ebusuafoye. No, as Ebusuafoye brings you to the marriage, they stay back to be a support. They don't marry with the family. You know, when you are doing this, you are doing to the family. You are just bringing confusion into certain relationships you are not aware of. Keep out of every. You are not the one to decide what the wife is going to wear. You are not the one to decide what the husband is going to wear, because immediately you start putting that into their mind. Now the person thinks, aha, my father said it, my mother said it. You are just heaping fire. Please stay back. Obi anwari ebusuya. Go back and learn well. Even every culture, they support you into a marriage. That is why you pay diary. We go and take you home, but I don't take you to my family. I create a family with you. The Bible says, for this reason, one will leave the family and go and live with God. Let's take notice of that. Then pushing you to the wall, please, let me advise you on this. There is nobody that can push you to the wall to do what you don't want to do. There are a lot of ways. When a woman is pushing to a certain point, please, I hope you also have a key to the door of your house. Go out.
Mm-hmm.
Go to your hall. Go to your kitchen. Go and box the next window somewhere. Your wife is not your punching bag.
Yeah.
Your husband is not your punching bag. Wait till the person cools down, then approach the person in the manner. If the person is not willing to change, please, please, please. My advice to you, yentro baby, run for your life, because your life is more important than any marriage on this earth.
Yeah.
Yes, when you die, that man is going to marry another person. When you die, that woman is going to marry another person. That will be another victim, or even that person probably treating the right.
Mm-hmm.
Understand?
Yeah.
So your life is very important. And one thing I wrote is that the reason why most of us, or most of us human beings, stay in abusive relationship is when we get used to certain situations and certain people. Everything, you know, when I meet someone and I'm somebody, I don't like using some kind of filthy words, for example. And then I meet Akwesi, and Akwesi is only using filthy words. It will come to a time those filthy words will be your natural language. So
Yeah.
you get used to being boxed. It will come to a point, even when they don't box you, you want to go and provoke your husband to slap you one day, you feel like, yes, and they're still like, you understand? So please don't tolerate some of these things for it to become the natural life and natural habit of your partner and yourself. That is the only little advice I can give on this platform today, because a lot of people are going through serious abusive relationships.
Serious abuse. Yeah.
People are hanging themselves. People have even started writing notes for their kids in the future, because they know one day slap will be delivered. Baby. So please don't endure those things. Marriage is not to be endured, it's to be enjoyed. It is for us to plan together to seek a future. It is not to now seek a solution. So please, those that are in, the advice to you is weigh yourself. Is it helping you? Because immediately you tell your neighbor, when the neighbor is wise enough, he will advise you. And then that person will become the third person. You understand? So you weigh yourself and see, is it good for me? Do I like, some people like beatings. That's why they have SM. They beat you and they like, yeah, mehwaba. So the thing is that you need to weigh yourself. If it's not helping you, run for your life. And please, parents that are advising people to stay in abusive marriages, no, I beg of you, it's either you love your child or you don't love your child. Because if the child dies, you understand? So please, don't advise them to stay, but find solution. Help them to what is going on. Listen to them. And women, men, stop running always to your parents, because they love you. Because they love you, they'll give you an advice to leave. It was one-time thing, because mistakes are bound to happen. Then you leave the marriage. Somebody who can endure those things and advise, will come and stay. Then now you start running after it. So weigh yourself. I will not tell you leave or stay, but wait for yourself, because at the end of the day, if I tell you to leave, I'm Minister Kai. If I tell you to stay, I'm Minister Kai. You go and tell God. So that is what I have for you today. God bless you for today, for your opinion. Ladies, like Papa said, so intelligent and so wonderful advice you've given today. I'm so blessed. Have a good night and a nice
Yeah, have a great week too.
week.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye.
Bye bye.